In today's video, we're going to talk about throttle bodies and what it takes to convert them over to possibly working on a 1996 Suzuki Katana. So stick with me. Maybe we'll learn something together. This is going to be part one of EFIing a 1996 Suzuki Katana. What I got here is throttle bodies from a 2003 GSX-R. I like that idea because I'm sticking with Suzuki. So there's very little modification I've done to this. I've got these silicon spacers in here with some T's coming off of the vacuum ports of the throttle bodies. Hopefully I get a good vacuum signal with that. Here I'm going to have to do a custom throttle cable. I'll do that in another part of this video, hopefully. I just have these pod filters. Those were cheap off of Amazon. Maybe I'll get something better. Maybe I'll put a pre-filter on them. The reviews on these were good on Amazon. I don't want to trash the engine, but I'm also trying to do this budget friendly and in a way that anybody can do it in their garage with minimal tools. So I tried to do things inexpensively but correctly. Very budget minded, high value stuff. So what I also have here are these couplings that have some play in them. I chose these and I found these for a specific purpose. Other people have done this conversion on katanas. This is a 600. I think the 600s and the 1000s are all basically the same engine. They're just stroked and sleeved and have different pistons as far as my knowledge goes. But what these do is it allows me to connect to the engine without modifying the throttle body setup. So that in turn lets me use the stock GSX-R fuel rail. You don't have to cut it, you don't have to make a custom one. All that stuff requires time, money, tools, some pretty moderate amount of know-how to do it. So this way, if you can pick up a set of these throttle bodies on eBay, you can do this. These were also very inexpensive on Amazon. Maybe I'll include a link, maybe I won't. You can just go on Amazon and search for this Ron TX name brand. They seem to be pretty high quality. They're nice and thick. So when I was originally thinking about doing this, I was going to modify the fuel rail or make a custom rail or whatever. But then when I held these throttle bodies up to my bike, I had noticed that the throttle bodies are the exact same outer diameter as the boots on the engine. So what I'll do here is I'll just leave the boots on the bike, or on the engine on the bike, and put these on here. I'm not thrilled about this situation, but it is easy. The reason I'm not thrilled about it is there is a lot of distance between where the injector injects the fuel into the system, and there's a lot of convolutions in this, and it's just a very tortured path between where the fuel gets injected and where it goes into the engine. It may lose atomization, it may not run right, I don't know. This is all just an experiment. I get these crazy ideas in my head and I gotta get them out. So to that end, I'm just gonna try it. What can it hurt? We'll just see how it works. So that's the basic idea of the throttle bodies. There'll be other parts to this video or video series, and I'll keep you posted. I thought I would just jump back in here and talk about these throttle bodies a little bit more. I noticed when I was in editing of the video, I neglected to talk about a couple of things. So what I wanted to also mention was by being able to use this stock fuel rail, I'll be able to use the stock fuel pressure regulator. That'll be great. It'll save space, it'll save money. I think that this will work perfectly fine. It's designed to work with these fuel rails at the pressure that they're designed to work at. Less hassle, less fidgeting. We'll just run with it for now. To that end, I did want to talk about these a little bit more, these tees. For now, with it just being naturally aspirated, I think this will work fine. I'll run this side of the tee to the fuel pressure regulator back here, and how I plan on controlling the injectors is with just your standard Mega Squirt. I got a version 3.0 board with a Mega Squirt 1 processor that seems to fit the ticket just well. I bought that for another project that never really came to fruition. And if I decide to go back to that project someday, I can always just pick up another Mega Squirt. No big deal. These tees, I couldn't have found anything more perfect. Let's just set this off to the side for now. They have these two smaller ports here that align almost perfectly with the vacuum ports on the throttle bodies themselves. Very little differences between the spacing here and here. Just a short little piece of vacuum line works perfectly. I doubled up on all of those just to make sure I try to get the best vacuum signal possible to run both the fuel pressure regulator on one side and send the vacuum signal to the Mega Squirt so it can adjust appropriately on the VE volumetric efficiency table. I just found these, they're probably like a Dorman vacuum fitting that you can maybe find at your local Autoport store, but I sourced them at my personal favorite place, Amazon. Whatever I can't find at Amazon, I discovered I really don't need. So that's what I had planned for that. I do have the throttle position sensor someplace. It's misplaced. It may be in my garage, it may be somewhere here in my office. I really don't know. I plan on using the stock TPS for the 2003 GSX-R. It seems to have a proprietary plug-in, and where it fits on the shaft here is different than a standard like General Motors TPS sensor that the Mega Squirt people normally use. I haven't been able to source a pigtail for that. It looks a little different than everything else that I've seen online, so I think is what I'm going to do, and what I've seen other YouTubers do is find pins that fit on those internal pins on the sensor and fill that in with epoxy and then make my own pigtail harness from that. That seems to work quite well. It'll basically render the TPS sensor useless for anything else unless you adapt back to a standard plug, but in this case I don't think that really matters. I tend to like to modify my toys to a point where I could go back to stock, or somebody else could go back to stock if they want to. That's not always possible in every case. In the sense of the TPS sensor, you will have to probably buy a new TPS sensor if, for whatever reason, that these throttle bodies ended back up on a GSX-R, but I don't think that'll ever happen. And if I do sell them for that purpose, I'll just take the TPS sensor off and say that it's not included in the eBay auction or wherever I decide to sell that. I think that pretty much wraps up everything I wanted to talk about the throttle bodies. I'm going to wrap up this video here. I was going to go into what it's going to take or what it looks like to be mounted on an engine, and I'll also get into the throttle cable setup a little bit. But this is already like a 10-minute video with 90 some Umms, and so I'm going to split it up into two videos, and we'll talk about what the throttle bodies look like on an engine and how those adapters or those flexible couplings look like on an engine. That's a loud car that's going by my house right now. Anyway, we'll get to that other stuff in the next video. We'll see you then. And until next time, keep thinking, keep doing.